Hello, everyone. This is Brad Patzer, and we are going to get started. Thank you for joining us this afternoon. This is going to be the first of 5 webinars. My name is Brad Patzer. As I mentioned, I live in Lewiston, regional coordinator with Idaho Digital Learning. Been with IDLA as a teacher. Actually, I started as one of the first teachers back in late 2002 in the fall. Been with IDLA full time now since 2008, I believe it is. And I serve the schools from Grangeville in Idaho. As we get rolling here, I wanted to thank you all for coming and let you know that our primary topic today is to be talking about our rollover from our current learning management system, Blackboard, into Schoology, a project that we've been working on for, a good year and a half. And we want to do it well, we want to do it right, and so we're rolling this out in phases. I want to talk a little bit about that. Advance the slide here. So first thing I want to mention is, and give you an FYI, is we are currently piloting 2 courses. One course really with a couple different sections. Middle school pathways to success, and that pilot is going well. There are a lot of neat features with Schoology that we like. We look forward to. Students are liking that. You're going to hear more from one of our teachers and a site coordinator about that a little bit later. But I just want to let you know that we're excited about this. We don't have all the bugs worked out. Of course, you wouldn't expect us to just yet, but we're excited about that. But as part of our rollout plan, we will now move on to pilot 10 additional courses this summer. And on your screen there, you'll see that we have 7 that'll be offered in the early summer session, starting June 4th, and then another 3 that are going to be offered in the dual credit session. And registration details are going to be coming along about that. The key thing I want you to keep in mind is typically you're going to register in a cohort. These particular courses are going to be called cohort version 2 in the student information system. And as I mentioned, more details will come about that a little bit later, but for now I wanted to give you that heads up. Before going any further, I should mention on the bottom right-hand corner of your screen, you'll see a little purple double arrow button, purple background, white arrow. If you were to open that up, click that button, on the controls there, you have the ability to utilize chat, I believe. I think you have the same screen I have, something similar at least. And if you have questions, there are several of us here with Idaho Digital Learning that will be moderating and trying to answer some of those questions as we go along. Looking ahead to our site coordinator webinars here, we typically, as you know, around this time of year, travel the state regionally typically, and bring in our registrar and some tech support and tech folks, and try and provide a nice little get-together for those of us who are working with the schools in the different regions, provide the update. But because of the Schoology rollout, and we weren't quite sure that we had everything nailed down, we thought we should give you some information, hence these 5 webinars scheduled here. And then we plan on doing a face-to-face one in September. So if you have not done a save the date, just wanted to show you that we have these webinars coming approximately every 2 weeks. They are going to be archived. And as you'll see there, we have some broad topics that each of these will be talking about and covering. But as part of our, excuse me, I'm going blank here. As part of our survey, thank you, nobody, I thought of that myself. As a survey that you're asked to fill out at the end, you'll have opportunity to say, hey, Brad, sure like for you guys to talk about this. And that will give us a chance, if we think it's something for the good of the group, we'll be glad to include that perhaps in these webinars. And if not, perhaps one of our regional coordinators can follow up with you just a little bit later and share out that information out with you. I do see that a question has been asked about flyers for summer. These have just been printed, not within the last week or 2, as have our fall flyers. If you go to the Site Coordinator Resources page, You can see what those flyers are on our main website. Go to idaho.digitallearning.org, then to the site coordinator page, and then resources, so you can actually print black and white. But your regional coordinators should be receiving them or have them by now, and we will begin traveling around delivering them to you or mailing them to you soon. Next thing, I already mentioned fall site coordinator training. Our goal, once again, is to do these face-to-face sometime in September, probably the third week of September. We're working on finalizing dates and locations. So once again, details will follow, but we just wanted to give you a heads up that we will have opportunity for us to get together. I know that there's an awful lot of shared learning that occurs when site coordinators and counselors, regional coordinators get together in a room and talk about what's working, what are areas of challenge, and how we can improve upon those. Also, many of you have taken that site coordinator course that we have offered in Blackboard to date, and that is being revised and updated, and that will soon be available in Schoology. Presently, that when a site coordinator goes to register for that course, they go to the site coordinator page, and then there's a training tab. We're going to begin shifting that over to the PD portal, where maybe some of you have taken the CCTI courses or some of our other PD courses. We're really starting to have quite a few teachers take and enjoy those courses. Just wanted you to know that that's where those courses are going to be found. And with that in mind, you probably don't want to hear any more from me. It's my pleasure to introduce to you Mrs. Kendra Clark. Kendra is one of two pilot teachers that is working with that middle school Pathways to Success class, and she's going to be taking that step over. So with that, Kendra?
There we go, just making sure my microphone was on. Hello everyone, yep, I'm Kendra and I live in Meridian, and I've been with Idaho Digital Learning as a part-time and full-time teacher for the last 11 years, and I teach mainly English, pathways, and speech and dual credit speech. So I am one of two that are piloting, like Brad said, so we're running through the course, and I'm lucky enough to be able to do that. So today I'm just going to run through a couple of slides that I thought would help you understand students see when they log in, because it's always a little confusing for site coordinators to know exactly what they are seeing. So I just wanted to show you what a new feature is. That's our calendar, and something called updates, which is new for us as well, and then what grades look like for students. So I believe, do I have power to move the next? Yes, I do. So here's the student view. When a student logs in to their course through the portal or however they are getting there, they will land on a page similar to this. They have tabs to their left like before, and then they have what we now call updates, which used to be announcements. So that's the first thing that they will see. Every single course lands by default on updates rather than their course units. So they land there first, and then on the right side, this is a brand new feature in the right column called calendar. And this is what will take the place of unit checklists that we used to have. And it's a really cool feature because when students click on that calendar icon, the number 27 there, it takes them to a full monthly calendar, and then all their assignments that are due within that month are listed on each of the dates, and then they can click there and go directly to their assignment. So I want to take just a moment to look at these three things, and I think we're going to start with calendar. So up on the right here under number 1, that was the view we just saw, and I just wanted to show you now from there. If I click on number 27, it takes me to the big calendar in the center of my screen on number 2. And you can see that it has listed all of the assignments that are due during this month. This is part of February and March. And these are the due dates that each teacher will put on. This is similar to the unit checklist that you've probably seen before. And again, these are suggested due dates to help the students stay on track. We're still going with the end unit dates every 2 weeks if you're taking a traditional cohort course. And students will still be responsible for turning all their work in by that time. But this is pretty cool because it lets them see it visually in an actual calendar. Then if they click on any one of those assignments, it will take them to number 3, and it takes them to the name of the assignment. And then they're in blue under the name of U3A1, it actually is the link, and it takes them directly to that assignment. So lots of different ways that they can find their assignment. But this is an awfully cool feature that lets the students know where they're going and what's due in a real visual way. All right, so that's calendar. Then I want to show you updates. This is really similar to, again, announcements. I put up there, it's our landing page now for all courses. And this, it copied off a little bit weird there in Thursday's assignment when I made this as a Google slide. But this is where teachers can give a little instruction, a little extra credit perhaps, or encouragement. We're a little limited. This is not quite as user-friendly for teachers as ours was in Blackboard as far as our text tools. So we are being a little creative in using Google Docs to create our updates and then transfer them here. So they're not quite as large, perhaps, or as long as they used to be. So is this for all? Oh, I missed that question. So let me go back. There we go. So is this for all classes now on instead of the normal Blackboard layout that's due? As soon as all the courses go to Schoology, then yes, this is what it will look like for every one of the courses there. That's what we're doing now as a content team. We are converting every Blackboard course into this format, if that answered your question. So the updates are, again, similar, but that's the verbiage we're going to use. Oh, someone on the mic.
Kendra, I'm sorry, this is Brad. I'm sorry to interrupt. If you don't mind, just a little bit of a clarification to that question. We are piloting those 10 courses that I mentioned earlier this summer, and based upon that, our plan is to take those courses and their B versions pretty much and offer them in Schoology in the fall. And then we'll have our next wave of courses that are piloting for spring. So I mean, once these courses are converted and then we've had pilots of what we'd call the same types, then they will be, students will only have the choice, will only be able to take those particular courses in Schoology. So over the course of the next year, you're going to have board courses, Schoology courses, and I'm going to mention a little bit later, Flex, or Brain Honey courses, are being upgraded to what we're calling, is called Buzz, which is really Brain Honey 2.0. So there's quite a few items that are being changed that you'll have to be working with, because we're going to have multiple LMSs for a little while. So I just wanted to clarify that just a little bit. Thanks, Kendra.
Brad, it looks like Kendra might have gotten kicked out. So she's probably going to have to rejoin us here in just a minute.
Oh, I sure hope I didn't do that. Well, you know, that reminds me of a joke. Okay, you knew a bad joke was coming. So you heard the story about the kid saying, teacher says, "Where's your homework?" And the student says, "My dog ate it." And the teacher says, "Okay, I've been teaching 18 years. I've heard it before. You really expect me to believe that?" And the student says, "No, really. Took a lot of honey, but he finally ate it." Okay, sorry to had to have one groaner in there. Is Kendra back? Please tell me Kendra's back.
She isn't, but I'm the
Okay.
I'm the other pilot teacher for the session, and I'd be happy to kind of talk about, Kendra created these slides and she thought through this presentation, but I'd be more than happy. Oh, she said she said her computer shut down to run updates and asked if I could finish her last slide. So you know how your updates will count down to have you restart your computer. She wasn't noticing it, so apparently she got kicked out. So let me go ahead and did she finish with this slide? I'm trying to. So this is the announcements, and it'll have instructions. Anything that the teacher, just like in the classes in Blackboard, teachers will have an active presence, and they will have we're calling them updates now, but in Blackboard they were called announcements, but they'll be very, very similar to what you saw in Blackboard. And you will have the ability to kind of toggle the notifications, so you won't have to have all the emails if you got the announcement emails in the past. So that might be nice. You'll have a little more control over some of the notifications. All right, let me go ahead and talk a little bit about grades. So when you see when you log in and you're observing a student, or when a student is logged in, they have a thing that says grades on the left. And when they click on that, you will be able to see all of their grades. If it has a rubric, that's what that red arrow in the center of the slide is pointing to. You can click on that and it will expand and give you more additional kind of grading feedback with the rubric. There's a number of places that teachers can put feedback for students, but it's kind of nice because the way we've been working on it through the pilot is that you will see kind of a running list. You can kind of see some text on to the right of where the points are. I know this is kind of a small slide, but you'll see kind of some running text, and that's where the teachers will either leave their feedback or they will let you know where. So like if it's a rubric, you will probably see some text that says click on the rubric link to view the feedback. If they need to leave it within the assignment for one reason or another, such as like if it's an audio feedback, you'll say click inside the assignment, and the assignment title is the link, and they can click in there, and then they can get like additional feedback. But we will use kind of this section over here, this overall feedback, to either leave it or to guide you to where to find it. So that's a little bit about the grades. I haven't actually seen this from the observer view that you will get as site coordinators, so I'm not sure if it will look much different, but I would assume that it would look very similar to this, which is the student view. So, and then that is all of the questions or all the slides that Kendra has prepared, but if you have any questions from the teacher point of view, I'd be happy to answer them as well.
Thank you, Laura. I appreciate your willingness to step in. Moving on to the next perspective, we've asked Jill Topliff from Lone Star Middle School, who is a site coordinator, monitoring a couple of these classes with Kendra, to participate and join us today to give you a little bit of her insight from what she's seeing so far in this first pilot round, if you will, of Schoology. So with that, Jill?
All right. Hi, everyone. My name is Jill Topliff. Can you hear me? This is my first time doing this, so I hope so. Good. Okay. So I am piloting Schoology here at Lone Star Middle School in Nampa, and we're in the Pathways course for middle school. And so far, my experience, as far as the layout goes versus Blackboard, it's been great. It's pretty similar, like they were talking about with the updates. That is the same thing as the announcements page. The students land there every day when they log in. That way they're checking that for announcements, upcoming assignments, extra credit, things like that. And on the left-hand side, the menu, instead of course units, it says materials. Students haven't had any issues as far as that goes. They access it every day just fine. The gradebook had a much better improvement. Students really love the look of it. And from my site coordinator view, it looks pretty much, if not the same, from what the students are seeing. So they're able to find their comments and things like that. Let's see here. As far as student experience goes, pretty much they are handling it very well. I am doing a 6th grade class, so their computer skills in general were a little lacking, but they've picked this up pretty well. Most of them started out on Blackboard, and now they're doing Schoology, and it seems to be going very well. Some things that they are having issues with, I don't know if you want me to get into that, but one of them is when they take a test or quiz. I know a lot of the kids are telling me that the buttons to go to the next question versus back to the previous one they want them swapped, and I don't know if that's something that is able to work out or not, but that is one thing that they have actually commented on quite often anytime we take a quiz in here now or a test. The buttons are reversed from Blackboard, I guess to say. So they're having a hard time with that. Let's see. Alrighty, and then another thing, they love the members page on the left-hand menu. They like to be able to go in there and get access to other students that are in their class. They can see the teacher's information. I know they were loving the bio that is on there for Mrs. Clark. They found that very fun to read. And some of them I think have even added pictures. A lot of the students have found out how to add pictures of themselves for their profile. So I think Schoology is really good, and they're learning to navigate it very quickly compared to Blackboard, in my opinion. As far as the student information system and navigation with Schoology, I did not notice any other differences. I registered them the same way. I didn't notice any difference or any more complications with that. It went really smoothly getting them into the Pathways course. So any questions, I guess?
Ladies and gentlemen, please feel free to enter the chat. Okay, excellent. Thank you, Jill. Appreciate so much your thoughts about that. Okay, we're going to move on to a couple of other items then. Well, let me go back here. First of all, I don't know if this is visually helpful to you or not. The slide is just a little bit small. But if you're a little bit uncertain about who your regional coordinator is, we divide up our responsibilities pretty much geographically. And so some of the main districts located in our region are listed there, so you see our different contact information, our phone numbers and emails. As mentioned, I'm in regions 1 and 2. Jeff, Fardin, Bev, Bradford are in region 3. Laurel Nelson's region 4, and Ron Pernue is in 5 and 6. So if you don't want to ask the questions now, please feel free to ask either one of us. Now I want to take just a few moments and mention just a couple of other items. We always try and give some sort of an update on different things, and I thought this would be a good opportunity to do so. We currently have about 348 teachers, 37 principals. We're looking at probably hiring another 48 teachers. Just this last, I think it was Tuesday, we got our 30,000th course enrollment for the year. We've been growing 8-9% a year, so that would mean potentially up to 3,000 students or course enrollments, perhaps I should say, for next year, and hence the need for hiring more teachers. We're in the process of narrowing our applications and getting ready to interview those interested applicants right now. Just thought you might be interested in that. I mentioned earlier that our flex courses are moving to what we call Brain Hunting 2.0 Buzz. So there will be some change, not a lot. It'll be a little bit, I think, more user-friendly interface. So I'll just mention that that's coming. If we want to think in terms of our impact, and around the state. Of the 90,000 or so high school students in Idaho, there are about 17,000 unique students who have taken Idaho digital learning courses. That's nearly, that's around 1 in 5 students. And we're glad to support schools and students, providing additional opportunities for equity that they might otherwise have. That you might be interested in knowing that. Oops, went too quickly, excuse me. An example that was shared of our 256 courses online, local school like Salmon River can offer about 54. Even a big school like Boise High offers 135. So that provides opportunities for your students that they might otherwise not otherwise have. In terms of career and college career exploration, with that 8th grade career exploration course, that course rolled out for the first time this fall and spring, and sometimes there are little hiccups for learning along the way, but we've been receiving a really good feedback from counselors and schools who have implemented and used this course. Really thankful for the opportunity to have help with the development of that 4-year plan. So I just wanted to mention that. And then of course we have some roadmaps, different course sequences that may or may not have been shared with you in different places, but in terms of computer science, you'll see about 4 courses lined up there that put students in good place for the Cisco Academy of Certification. We have another one which leads well into dual credit web development with Lewis Clark State College, and then an AP computer science course as well. One other thing I wanted to mention that you may or may not be aware of is the PERC, the Parent Education Resource Center that the State Department has. Jeff or one of you folks, if you, I don't have that link handy. I probably should throw that in there. If one of you could find that, throw it in the chat. I sure appreciate that. But this provides an awful lot of helps for parents and helping them plan and prepare for going on. Okay. Any questions? I'm going to pause just a moment and ask about see if there are any questions. Will there be parent access to grades announcements in the syllabus with Schoology? That's something that I think we're working toward. I do not believe that will be initially available in a rollout, but we do know that that is a need that has been requested. Where can we access those career pathways for computer science from the last slide?
This is Jennifer.
Thanks, Jennifer.
I actually just posted the link in our chat function there. It can be found on our website under courses, and if you click on roadmaps, there will be the information that was referenced in the previous slide.
Perfect, thank you. And then just 2 other items I wanted to share with you, and then we're about done for today. Actually, it's one topic, but I have it spread over a couple slides. People are often asked about new courses and revised courses, and wanted to share those with you. With our all hands on deck approach towards Schoology, we do not have a large number of new courses that we're offering this year, but we have made have added some courses and had several revisions. So you'll see we're going to have an AP Calculus BC course, which will replace the AB that we had offered previously. And then you'll see the AP Lit and Comp, English and Composition 7, and English 8 and B courses have been developed. I need to advance my slide. Looks like I have it. Okay. I think my computer is locking up. Is somebody help advance the? Let me see here. There we go. Social studies, my apologies, everyone. History 11, world history have been revised. Spanish 1, 2, and 3. Focus on the course, and we're going to more of an open education resource approach. So you see those courses are looking different. This will be revised courses. And then well, sorry, apologies. This is
Brad, I think your audio has been cutting out. So they've been able to kind of read the slide, but they can't quite hear you. I don't know if Jeff or someone wants to jump in and kind of fill in for Brad, or if just reading the slides sufficient information.
Laura, thank you. We haven't with our internet. That is pretty much.
Okay, it seems like Brad has been cut out, but it looks like there's information there that can be viewed, and the updates regarding the course revisions and new courses that will be rolling out. There are a couple questions. Let's see. It's a question about Spanish, and let me just go back. There you have on the slide information about Spanish 3A and B. They want to know if it'll affect the class in the fall. Laura, are you able to answer that question? Oh, Kristen just answered it. It says Spanish 3 is just revision. We're going to continue answering questions as best as we can as they come in. I'm also going to go back a couple slides. As most of you know, there